Morning, everyone. So, with the flow of the current reality, the energy of my life, our lives, the reminder I want to share is spiritual guidance is going to, not anytime in the future, it's already here, been happening, and is ever more present, and actually easier for us once we get a few clues for ourselves of our own intuitive listening, intuitive noticing, intuitive feeling. And intuition is like your central chord, heaven to earth, earth to heaven. So you can receive, and I want to bring it right to the present moment. I don't want to keep saying like guidance is, or you can receive, because it's right now. Okay, so it's not years of training in that respect. Okay, because some people can pick up their guidance once they just learn a few things. It's really whether in your gut you are willing to connect with your spiritual, at least the acknowledgement, your spirit, and you have a team that responds to you. They are one with you. So the main highlight that I wanted to pinpoint, reminder, is that a lot of the time we get guidance when we're going through a challenge, small or heavy, something that seems big. We're going to get guidance, and it might be layering. So it might be like, it might feel like something is going to literally break open the bricks that you've built life on, right? Even if it's small, sometimes it can be like, oh my God, that feels like it's going to change. Like the challenge feels like it's calling change from you. And so too, the guidance, you've picked up on something in that feeling. This challenge is changing me. Your guidance is going to be on that journey with you. So, yes, see how clever we actually are? In the simplest of observation, life is asking me to change. Really? And instead of us going up in the air like emotionally, right, which we can do, and definitely if you feel like having a cry, if you feel like doing some anger about something, if you feel, you need to get it out, but the emotion is not what you run to and hide in. So yes, we're human. We feel these things, but the message you receive, even if it's a challenging one, okay? We're not here to live on perfect clouds and just float around and blame God or blame someone else that life should be different for me. because every one of us have signed up to go through certain things. And you have that guidance team well aware. And always call on your highest light guides, okay? Because if you're down in the dumps and you're feeling that way too often and you call on your guides, you're not in the energetic framework to receive of the highest, which is what your guides will help you with. So you're going to have to pick up your energy and clear space in your life where you observe and appreciate life to keep yourself in a higher vibration, and you'll receive easier. Because what the guides or God or any human cannot do is change someone's mood. That's up to us. So when life gives us challenges, if we go down too much, we need to realize our power of choice and say, oh, I recognize I'm going down in emotion, in this, in that. No one else is to blame. I actually have to pick myself up to receive my guidance. So I'll give myself some time to be any of the emotions that come up. I'll give myself some time to be that. All right. But my spirit and soul are saying, okay, once that's done, come back up within, get yourself back into alignment of, okay, this is my challenge. I need you with me. So the main point of that then is the light guidance is always trying to instigate your growth. So you can picture life as like seeds in our creative womb. All of us have that creative orange, second from the bottom, sacral area, sacral of the spine, and the abdomen, orange. So, you know, when you think of orange, you think of the light of orange, not just like a plain orange, okay? Like the light of orange, like it's nourishment and nothing but. But if we're not operating in light and we're down in our emotions, then that's what slows down that emotional field of us. Our physicality will start to match it and our mind will go to the emotions. So when you receive light guidance, the human is going to have to shift the vibration from, yes, I'm going through this, but today I will just gaze at things I love. That's going to shift your vibration. We are vibrational. We are light. Today, all I'm going to do is walk along the beach, or I'm going to make sure while I'm going through this challenge that I do something every day that gives me a creative, so upper, heart expression, a creative outlet. I'm going to play with my paints a little bit. I'm going to draw a picture. I'm going to be around a particular person that allows me to just be myself. I'm going to make sure I spend some time alone. I'm going to, all these higher things, because that's how we easily receive guidance that we don't even realize. So as I was saying with the orange, it's like our sacred seed, and light is always trying to assist the whole being as a part of soul tribe teams, all our guidance teams, so that these shine out and we connect more. Our soul sacred points on the path, meetings that are meant to happen between certain souls, connections, groups, all with the uplift, uprise for planet Earth. So none of this we stay the same old battle, suffering, give in to that way of life. Because think about it, that's not any kind of nourishment foundation. Okay? And we are light. Bright, nourishing, endless connection light. And I don't know if anyone's looked at the skies lately and see what I see, but we have so much loving family of light. And it's soft and it's fast movement and so full of higher assistance. So when you think about the chakras, the 7 chakras, and then the crown, the top one, violet into white light, if you're keeping in check your balance, and you will be opening up for more communication of inspired thought, but it's not like us humans have been operating with just, this is our linear operation, meaning this is what we do, and occasionally we get new thoughts and ideas to change things. But this is like so instead of like shopping mall mentality where I'm gonna go and receive this, I'm gonna go and buy this, I'll receive this. Receiving of light instead of linear actions is just like the moon. Yeah, I can't compare it in any other way to something on Earth. Just like assistance round the clock. So heaven and earth. There is no stop. And that's a really good way of looking at it. Thank you, guides, for that description. Because it highlights the way we have been operating and the way we are now. Because I don't feel in me that there is any turning back. A few years ago, I wrote something on Facebook, as I do when I connect with my guides about something really meaningful, like it's been building. And they described this time as like they knew it was coming for a while, the turning of the clock. And now I can see how a deeper meaning to that. With the nature of receiving guidance, it's timeless. And so, yeah, we are the turning of the clock. Like, the clock means something to us still, and will, in this appointment-based living. But receiving our guidance that has always been in operation, it is turning our attention to the receiving of that. Because we don't realize that has been happening for a while anyway. Like, it's always happen. It's been a part of the functioning of us. Guides, as long as there has been humans, and I'm not sure of all different races that have been on this planet, but we have always had spirit teams. Like, no one visits this planet without having overseers, like spiritual teams. And we're not going to talk about every one of them, but yes, they're always watched over. And yes, depending on the races, and I'm not talking about this day and age. I'm talking about different different occupations on the planet. So yeah, different occupations on the planet, because Earth has a wide, vast history. But yes, there is always someone aware of what's going on the planet, and more so now, the spiritual teams are relevant. So the main highlight of that is you'll receive guidance, but it's not always going to be for you to identify with being the same person you know yourself as. And that's been the difficult part with not as much light as we have now. So I'll use myself as an example. When I've gone through something at any age in this life, and for my path there hasn't always been someone there, but for a lot of the path, like some powerful moments on my path, there has been humans there as well. And so that's part of your spiritual path as well. There will be soul tribe, like not only family tribe, there will be soul tribe you will connect with to make sure on your path, and this is part of the plan of the support for, we're not just put here to suffer. If you look back over your life, you will feel a remembrance of how many times someone has been there. Now, we can kind of not appreciate that and kind of forget about it, and yeah, that's just a part of life, but it was actually a meaningful setup. And so I just need to clear my energy field, because when I sipped my coffee, I realized Matthias De Stefano is still doing his electrical crap to my field, which is one of the reasons I've flowed into this message, because he hasn't accepted fully his path of change. He's dragged it over in time, hasn't fully accepted his path of change, that he's not going to be the same. And this is the point I'm getting to making now, that says we're not going to be the same. Okay, if you think of yourself as seeds of a sacred path, those seeds are opening. So, as I was saying about myself, the Teresa through the years, I want to bring this all back together, and it just opens up more, that's all. Yes, when I've gone through things, or when any of us have gone through things, it has always been it always brings up a fear in us to the unknown. All right? And sometimes you'll have someone there and sometimes you won't. But it is that fear of the unknown that's either coming into our lives or we're sort of having to go towards it, or even change is trickling in and you're noticing it's calling you for something different. These things are happening for a reason. And so if someone isn't there and you don't have anyone to talk to about it, you always have a guidance team there. Now, I didn't know that consciously in my 20s. But I'd had enough of the human perspective by the time I was, 28. I had some different things occurring and I was just like, there's more to life than what this world and our operation is. It's just a knowing you have inside because you're discontent with the way the world's operating with things. You can't pinpoint them because there's so much going on. So you just know enough to know that there is more than this. So life has to go through change when you realize that kind of thing. So that's what happened with me. Life has to go through change. You're comfortable, you live somewhere, you have a life going on, but there's something else, isn't it? And it's because you're a spiritual being. So you have to open to it. And so opening means change. I knew, and I didn't want to, because at the age of 28, you think my life should be, as the humans say, settling down and all of this. Actually, the way the human has operated, we retire in our 60s or something, right? So by nearly the age of 30, you think you're pretty much settled, but you can't help this inner change stirring, wanting to speak, right? So it's this seed, it's the light of the human opening to the fact there's more, and your life opens and changes, and the outside reflects it. The outside starts bringing more that matches you. You have to listen to it. Your life around you might change more. You sometimes can't explain it, but you have to support it because you know it's true, right? And so, well, for men, we all know that the maturity of a bigger picture seems to take a little while to drop in. It's like some men with the energy of the planet don't want any kind of sharing, committed, stable thing in their life till maybe they're 40. It's been a known thing. And then even more women are doing that, as the women want to stand up for their independence and they don't have to have children if they don't want to, etc., etc. All right. But so what that can mean, though, is that when we get so determined with an identity of being a certain way, we're not that flexible to change. So the woman, in comparison, I just need to clear my energy again because Matthias De Stefano is just horrible in nature sometimes. He just is this lightning, electricity trickle through my body to create like a painful response, because he's still focused on separation and sex. Because he doesn't want to, and he's 39 in August, so here we are. But I'm not talking about this just because of him. I'm talking about it because it's an energy, and he's part of the stimulus. Keep things the same. Don't break through what this change in life is calling me for or to do. And he thinks like acting like a 13-year-old 13-year-old in a 38-year-old's body is like a funny pervert. All the shit he does. I mean, comedy is funny when we do various things and make jokes about it. Like he's done some repeated stuff for years that says you have a boy's mentality and wanting a man's interaction, and you're doing all of this separate. You are invisibly hassling a person's life, every aspect of it, from going to the toilet to interacting at various places, all the time. So, boy mentality, man appearance. Responsibility of balancing consciousness in between, none. No responsibility whatsoever. And so this is like one of the worst kind of nearing 40 male responses to life. I can do this if I want, and until you appreciate me sexually, I'll just keep playing this show of the man who has everything and all the girls' attention. And if you don't want me sexually, then you mustn't want me at all. That's just a part of it. And then like it'll be the bitchy personality that says, you shouldn't talk to me a certain way, because I tell this ghost of a man, because it's a ghost, he's here right now and he hurt me not so long ago, and he'll do it again because I've mentioned it. This is why I haven't been able to be like continued detailed information, because he's over my shoulder all the time about everything that I write going on, and he'll just keep doing it like a 13-year-old mentality. Oh, God. And he's a spiritual teacher. Well, this is his up-leveling to realize if you're going to preach oneness with the I am, that's treating everyone at least in front of their face. Like, he's disrespectful to me on every fucking level. As you can see, like if you were me, this person don't talk to you. He just hurts you or gives you gross ideas on every level, right? On every level you could think of, like a pervert would, or someone hiding out, doing deviant stuff. That's what he offers, because he wants to demand that I give him sexual attention, because he tells himself that's what the relationship is built on. Now, I'm pretty sure, although he got one of my YouTube accounts deleted, the initial one, I can't remember what I called it now, Open Hearts channel on YouTube, which began 23, I think. Anyway, if you've watched any of my videos, because this channel I started when he somehow assisted getting rid of Open Hearts channel. I know he did, because he works with electricity. So he stuffs around with my mobile data. He stuffs around with electricity, with lights, with anything, you know, because you become one with the flow of energy. So, you know, he stuffs around with the birds that he has connection with. He stuffs around with any birds. He stuffs around all the time. He's never been a human in form in front of me, communication in any way. He wants me to watch him on the screen. He wants to put on the Playboy fucking scene, like, or however you describe it. You know, men nearing 40 just wanting to be like sex appeal and shit. And I've constantly said over the years, if you want to turn me on, it's going to have to be through intelligently being yourself. Show up and be yourself. I'll see you when you get here. Because I'm not up for this dicking around. It's been 3 years, June 6th, that he knew about this path with me. And the dicking around started within 2 months. Like, I'm not coming to see you. I'm going to keep wanting sex. Because he invites himself into everything. So he watches everything, interferes with everything. He's a constant presence. But never has he showed up in form. If he was a spiritual teacher and guide of any kind of the highest nature in congruence, you'd follow the guidance even if it is breaking apart who you are for change. So if you work with the highest, or we work for the highest, okay, we wouldn't be here without a sacred plan. So appointments with our sacred teams before we come into birthing in this reality. So we are not here to ignore guidance. And this guy, before the journey with him, I assumed he was sincere in his highest guidance following, and that he would give it the most respect possible. Like, oh, you want me to go and meet this girl? Okay, that's going to change my world. But then shut the human talk down. Yes, it's going to change your world, but guides, what do you want me to do? So you want me to go meet this girl. And he knew it's a reunion. But he chose the human perspective of, I don't want my life to change. So he goes on about his ways and makes it about a thing to do with humans of light and dark. Yes, but you know the light you've been given to follow. And instead, you want to dance around like you just can't figure out why. We're not meant to know like exactly why. We're meant to go and do it to know why. And you will get hints or clues only for you to follow that light. So when this is falling apart that you've known, follow the guidance. Which is, this is difficult. Yes, it is. Here's your guidance. That seems like it's going to be more difficult. How can I have a guarantee it's going to work? Why can't I know everything before I get there? What would be the point of going to Earth? You are there to grow, shift, and change energy. As you grow and shift and change, energy changes. And it's all for the raise in vibration of love. Raise your vibration, you're raising the planet's vibration. Now, it's not difficult for us to focus on love, any of us. But we've been hypnotized into battle, form, secure, hold, separate, divide, battle some more, fight some more. And in this hypnotized, there is entanglement of trickery where some rise. Okay? So when we each have our challenges or open our eyes to the challenges going on in the world, we're not here to save the world as an individual. We can only do what we can do for ourselves, and that changes the world. So then you meet others who are opening to taking care of themselves, listening to guidance. And I just like to clear my left ear because I know he would be using the electricity from my phone screen as he does. And yeah, and he just did. And it also instigated my lower body. So he really doesn't care what he does. Now, anyone with half a brain, which he operates with, only the left side, because the right side is open to the creativity of life. And in 3 years, he's done no real creativity toward me, and he knows that that's the journey. So it really only takes a meeting. And this guy has done everything and anything that he has ever known to keep himself the same and say, oh no, it couldn't be that, it couldn't be that, it couldn't be that. But yet at the same time, the whole time, he's been focused on me. The same time, the whole time, he's been focused on me. Yeah, his one eye Odin. Watching me and staying in his life that, as you will see, which I haven't looked all year on social media at what he's doing, one eye on me, one eye on keeping life the same. Ridiculous. To me, it's like two-faced. And I'm hoping and praying that the Gemini moon, new moon, will shift this idea that this is a natural and normal way of being into it is so not, and it is more ridiculous than ever. So the natural and normal I persist in living is the fact I'm not here to change minds. I'm here to be an example of living the truth. And the truth is of a higher nature. So I'm not here to go through the nitty-gritty of what humans want to fight over. Well, this is true. Well, this is true. Well, this is true. Well, this is true. Well, actually, we're talking about vertical, higher alignment, feet on earth. So spiritual crown connected to all the way through is your responsibility on how you choose and balance your consciousness to keep opening and catch yourself when that ego wants to get in there and stop your growth. Okay? Because it's your ego, it's your responsibility. You are accountable as an energetic being. And you should be grateful that your feet are on the earth at this time. And you should be grateful all the way up to the heavens for your being. And you should share that light and love with all your fellow beings. And anyone dicking around should stop being a mongrel clown. Because quite literally, and I am blunt about this, This energy shift is very real, and the irresponsible will bury themselves. Now, to the unconscious of chakra consciousness of each of us, they'll be just like, oh yeah, whatever she's talking about, radio. To the somewhat conscious of chakra consciousness, that's our design. It's actually a combined portal, heaven to earth, but it'll only become that one awareness for us when we're in balance. And then your portal receives easily. But if you are only somewhat conscious, then you might be thinking, oh my God, that's harsh. How could she say, if we're irresponsible, like, do we know how we're irresponsible, etc., etc.? Well, look, you have nothing to worry about if you're going from your gut in your actions, right? So actions like up through the heart and expressing yourself via your hands, via your body language, via your speech, via your choice of words, everything about your expression, if you have good intent. So my throat doesn't want to bring up words through my instrument if it does not come from my gut of good intent. So we know in our gut when we are going to take any kind of action, and remember, nothing is hidden. We're energy, okay? Akashic Records has got it all covered. It's just like the spiritual, endless soul library. So you really can't fart without it being in the Akashic Record. All right? Not that that matters. Not that you're going to go back. How much did I, whatever. So it's really just good intent. So when I say if we know we can do good intent, good action, we can clear up our field to say, I've had these things go on, but it doesn't mean I have to take it out on anyone else. We are responsible for what we do in the now, because that creates what comes towards us, and that creates our future now. Right? But if we continue to pretend we've got no responsibility and I can just do what I want, and some people need to say to some of these leaders wearing the suits, yeah, I am changing into something else here. But for instance, the irresponsible, unaccountable style leadership, someone actually needs to say to them, everything that's going along with this outfit you're wearing is not going to stay. That's what I would say with clarity. But their consciousness would probably need something like, you think you can dress up every day, because they need more of a spoken sort of confrontation in a way, because that's how they operate. That's the consciousness level. So you got to add more words to it. But I really just want to summarize it as the suit you're wearing, no matter what day, the suit you're wearing is not going to stay. You might want to change. And I'm talking about consciousness, choice, choosing, and that they've had decades. Some people have, where history has not changed. But then there's some not for decades, but they've had long enough and they've even been convicted of offenses and they're back in leadership. So this clearing is massive because of that. That the actual trickery has been highlighted. And so the suit you're wearing is not going to stay. So you either take off the suit, right? Because we can see it all. Or you'll go down with it. And that's that. And that's not Teresa. And that's not fighting, like the fighting mentality on the planet. That is because we are in love consciousness. All right, so are you going to match? To the irresponsible, this is the way they think. They think, foundation for me, and anything upper is the suit I'm given. Like the title, the label, the power associated with that title and label. And anything else in the consciousness, to hell with it. Because if they did care for the other, then that would mean that they actually consciously care for their own vessel, their own light being. You get what I'm saying? When someone gives out pathetic action where they don't care that people are dying and they actually block assistance for life-giving resource, life-sustaining resource, they're actually living that reality, because you can't lay your eyes upon, you'd have to be like practically close to a complete evil entity and not just a human that's pretending they don't see. Because you can pretend you don't see, but you feel it. You know exactly what you're doing. You're conscious exactly of what you're doing. You wouldn't like what you see to be done to yourself, so you fear it. And in that fearing it, you stay in that. You know, so it really pays at this time to look into what I'm mentioning as to who else is talking about our energetic beings as well. And there is so much beauty aspect to learning of our true identity as energetic beings that we can see so easily with our consciousness that it doesn't pay to be horrible to anyone else. Because it's so true what Jesus said as well. What, you know, and I don't quote from the Bible. I've listened to many teachers and I will not read the Bible. I will not open up and read all those little words and whatnot and refer back to things. There's enough people in the world that have read it and I respect and listen and etc. But what you do to one, you are doing to yourself. Okay? And that's been echoed in all different ways, before and after Jesus. So do unto others as you would have done unto you. Because light. All right, but back then we aren't where we are now with all like chakra color awareness, because through time we have grown, but it is the light template. You too can do the things I do. So those just hanging out in the old person they were still, because they can't show up and front up, like they want things to be different still, if it's, not serving of light, then, well, I speak from my situation. I think he's a complete idiot. Because there is nothing else. It's like he subconsciously and unconsciously wants to keep things the same, but he's a spiritual teacher working with energy on the planet, but he theorizes. He's a left brain scientific where they have to, no, they don't have to, right? And it's fine to be left brain scientific, right? But there's this whole other element to life itself, right? And this is our right brain, our creativity, right? Our creativity is our feminine expanse. Now, we are feminine and masculine, so I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of the left and the right, etc. But there is this whole other way of looking at life. And sometimes scientific, a lot of the time, goes into this is how it happens, this is how it's done. Right? So I can see now clearly that Matthias falls victim and prey to, these are the patterns and this is the way it works, and all I have to do is keep staying the same. All right, like just do the same things and that is everything. But it's not, because the power of choice is not involved in that. So evolution is like, it's a whole operation of the power of light. So on this planet, we can research anything we want as long as we've got a perspective that in every moment, things are evolving. So what we think we've concluded is actually still evolving. Now, I know we say that theoretically, but there's a creative aspect to the whole being of our design, to the whole being of everything, and we actually don't let that cycle through and feel the power of that. And so that's through sincerity of appreciation, and that is depth. And when one finally does, the energy comes up, right, from Mother Earth. When you finally allow the creativity that all is happening, right? And we get to left brain be aware of it, learn of it, investigate, share this information, see how some things work, that is definitely how they work for now. Because when you then allow what you've found to come around into the creative part of your spherical, two-parted brain, well, actually more, but, identifying its majority of assistance, comes round, you accept that you don't control. So you don't say, we've found it, it's the way it is, or this drug works for this, and the human isn't, this is what doesn't happen. The human isn't actually evolving moment by moment by the intricate choices they make in their existence that changes their biology and physiology. We don't include that. We just say, this drug, this condition, this is what happens. Or this condition, this diagnosis, this is what happens. But then that person could walk out, right? And do a few different changes that they don't even mention to the medical facilities and heal. Because we are not in control. We are not left brain individuals. We are both. So it's like, it's the masculine and feminine. So it's the creativity of the whole, and we are here inside it in creation, using the power of the opposites for creation. But the opposites are blended, and this is the magical, mystical balance, right, of the whole. But with our conscious design in it, we have to like be in touch with how we flow. So this is what? This is our interactions with each other. This is our choosing. This is moment to moment. All right? But due to various aspects on this planet, we've gone like this. We'll just do it anyway. It doesn't matter. And so we have all this crapola instead of conscious consideration for our actions. Okay? And so to a lot of unconscious, and I know Matthias still, he doesn't push through this challenge into the heart chakra more because, you know, he's had his various challenges, and we all do. We don't stay there, but he doesn't listen to that. He likes the comfort of staying the same and sees a power play, and he calls that his energy for life. But what we actually are is our internal seeds coming up and out like a gorgeous tree and walking a various multi-dimensional path. Okay, so the old world and the old ways, you're not going to get power from doing horrible things, and you can stay there. All right, so there is an aspect of breaking through to the responsibility of opening. And no one's going to tolerate the same old, what is now manure-based. And I will catch you at every moment, as I have been doing, keeping you accountable to, what the fuck do you think you're doing to me? I can't believe you're doing that, etc., 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 etc. And all of this manure, right? And I have got some shit smells from him. No joke. I ain't smelling anything else around me but what he decided he would do. And this is the mentality of people choosing the same because they don't want to open up to change. So there's a whole fear shift element degrade. All right? Thought it was degrading and controlling in the atmosphere, but it is the actual degrade. So I just can't believe that, like, you know, just the entanglement of the sexual nature as though it is like, I don't know, like a rescue rope. And the answer is consistently no, because he uses his invisible reality to try and enforce that he will keep things that way. And that's why I get more vocal, because no fucking way. Okay? And he plays it. Some days he'll, you know, he'll hide the fact he's still doing that. So it'll be like, oh yeah, I'll play this field where everything's nice. But what he doesn't see is she's balanced. Me. So it looks like I'm living, you know, a nice life. I do what I want. He can't, you know, tell me what to do, etc. So he'll like, oh yeah, I'll be a ghost in this atmosphere. So it's nice. It's like, you know, but I'm grounded in that. He's still a freaking ghost. And so what he does is, if he doesn't get his sexual response way in that playing that bit that he thinks is a play, right? He goes straight back to all his stuff to demand he wants it a certain way as a ghost. And so men can do this in real life, in real time. And not to mention, this is happening in real time. And just ridiculously, how he skips the healthy process of a human to go from pretending into demanding. Now, I've been this for a while. I expect that I should have received something here. No, you're still a ghost. You're not going to get fed. So what's the highlight here? You're born a human. It's that simple. Be the human. So people have their own insecurities for various things they've gone through, and they don't want to open up to a whole new thing because they still got a power play in staying the same old way. But the same old way wasn't serving him because he's trying to use different tactics of childhood mannerisms and this and that, because he's fed in his mind that that's the way for his growth. If I make sure of that, then I'll get that. If I make sure of that, then I'll get that. But that is not flow. That is not truth. That is patterns made up in the mind, illusions that keep people in conditions so that he's fed a particular thing, and that is not life. That is linear, that is left brain, that is control, that is if I do this, I get that. No, we are creative, must open and grow. You see, I think I've brought this full circle now, and I've just passed the hour mark of this chat, so guidance is going to ask you to change. It's been there your whole life. Always reach for your highest light guidance. So if you do that by means of taking quiet moments to pray, this is happening with me, guides, highest light guides. I call on my highest light guides in my sacred space I create for myself at any time. At home, in a public bathroom, wherever you are, at the table at dinner, say a prayer if you want quietly, and then no matter what's going on around you, you can learn and teach yourself to hold that interior temple awareness that you are this inner energy field, right? You are not just this human that people see. So, you know, like you're at dinner, perhaps with new people, perhaps with people you've known for a while, doesn't matter. Okay, always make space for that central part of you, because you've gotten to know it in your quiet. Because you're an instrument of the light. So you are not just face value, identity, must give people what they need or want to hear. Because that is a very shallow, superficial existence, and yet inside you are beaming light. All right? So the more attention you give to that, the more you let it come out. That is your soul connection for your tribe on this planet. So you don't always have to be with the same people, or always have to be in the same environments, or always have to be doing the same thing, or always thinking the same thing, or always attracting the same thoughts, or, your attraction of thoughts is based on what you begin with. So begin perhaps your day with, I just love quiet. And sometimes if you're a busy person, you're going to hate that at first. But if you make a commitment to yourself that quiet is something you need, then when you wake up, you make sure, yes, you might have to interact with someone or other people around, but you have to make space for your inner being. So you're going to have to make commitments that say to others or to the household, or you have to wake up earlier. Do what you need to do to make quiet, even if you hate it at first. Because there is this connection with Mother Earth that wants to support your creativity, support your soul's seeds, support your energy, your physicality, your emotional balance, so that they're not wild and crazy and controlling of anything and everything. Because what we send out is actually in motion. And, just request of yourself that that's more loving and you'll be more conscious. So start with yourself. And really learn to love it, because we haven't been recommended to learn to love it. We all know that meditation has come over from the East, that is spreading really like a consciousness shift that says, for how long now? Like in Australia, I know like the 60s, 70s of hippie love, meditation, peace, love, etc. Yes. So this is the wave in consciousness and the Eastern tradition of quiet and meditation. So you can request prayers, but then it's that meditation space. Meditation is not closing your eyes and going somewhere else, right? So meditation is, I've requested guidance, I've told them how I feel, and now I'm going to hold space, because what I am speaking to is very real, and I am a receiver of assistance that is very real. Now, if you do that and start it as though that's the way it is, then that's the way it will be. But if we decide that we're just going to go down with anything, like down with what someone says, down with a world condition, something's happening, be careful of that, all right? Treat your energy field more precious. And remember, even though it feels like you would love to follow down an emotion or a panic mode or an argument or anything like that, don't go there. You go down for a little bit, but then you have to have, because what we've been doing is treating that as life. The emotions, that is life. But what we actually need inside of us, in our gut, is something to come back to. So pull our energy back to ourselves. And most of us go with our minds, well, I'll just follow the emotion down, or the energy of what's happening in the field, I'll just follow that. No, we want to not give our energy to that. We want to observe how we feel. Yes, oh, that makes me feel like this. etc. Not follow it down. So you're observing yourself, and then what? I am a higher light being. I'm going to say a prayer right now in direct time, timeless communication. I'm sincerely saying this energetic communication, right? And I am a grounded on this divine planet receiver. Now that's what you make space for. Okay, so yes, naturally the old human wants to get drawn because they feel like they need to identify if they're going to help it. Right? But it doesn't. As energetic beings, if we follow it down, that's where we're going. So the mentality of that is, and this is from the old world as well, the mentality of that is exactly that, really. I want to save it, you know, but we send our energy down with it. You don't, like, if someone's drowning, you don't jump, like, if you can, you'll jump in. But if it's like pulling down waters, you'll find the next best thing to assist. You don't go jumping in. I was actually thinking that to myself the other day when I was walking along the waterfront, and there was someone out a little way, and it was choppy waters and it was very windy, and I was thinking to myself, mate, if you get sucked out any further, or if I, like, because I kept looking back, I mean, because they had some kind of, I think they had a board and they were trying to get the sail up, but it wasn't a big sail. Anyway, I couldn't see quite clear, but it was like the bobbing up and down in the waves. But the person was still there, obviously, as I kept walking. I thought to myself, I won't be jumping in that water. I'll be trying to get, because I didn't have my phone, I'll get someone's attention and, or get some help somehow. So you don't like put yourself in danger, and that's the first thing you taught when you do like, you know, CPR and all different first aid. You don't put yourself in like danger when you're not completely sure of the situation. If it feels like danger, you don't, you know. But if you're guided to respond, right, you'll know if you're guided to respond, you won't feel a don't do it sensation. You'll be like, oh yeah, too easy, get in and help. So, which is an example of, don't send all your energy to it, because you'll know if you do this as a habit, because you'll be in that energy hours afterwards. But if you are maintaining your assistance for this planet is by keeping yourself at your heart and above, so at your healthy give and receive and open to more of it, right? That will actually help, because that's intelligence of our whole field. But see, we haven't practiced that. So people doubt it. They say, oh, how can that help? You know, if this is happening and this is happening. Well, give it some actual practice. Hold your light more. Make sure you find times of quiet. Do prayer. Consciously learn or ask yourself, what does it mean to be an open to receive energetic being? So learn different things on intuition, learn the chakra consciousness that we will all go through, that we have access to all the time, but we will go through it more through stages of our life. Learn these things, and that's how you help, right? That's how we shift this planet, because we haven't been doing it. So the crap that's going down in the world is because we haven't been doing that. So you have to practice and take care of your own space, which is your conscious choosing for how you feel, for your well-being, for what you like and what you are called to because you want to or you're called to create. And if you are wanting to create something and then life is actually supporting you by bringing it to you, that's where it's at. Where Matthias is arguing with it instead of life is helping me have what I want. Why am I hiding from it? Because I know he wants it because he's concentrating on me 24/7. He just can't change elements to suit the old. And I've told him for years, and he's preached it for years, we're in a light shift. But he's taking his time. And that's fine. People can take their time. Just don't treat me a certain way so you can stay in your old longer. Don't tell me how I'm going to live. Because I don't concentrate on you because you take my energy down. You're a freaking ghost, for Christ's sake. People don't give their energy to the air as though, oh, he's in my field. We're human contact. So do nothing but. So that's really your only shift and change. And don't get emotional over it. Clear it out and live healthily. Now, I have to say that whether he does it or not, I don't care. But that's the clarity of it. That's the clarity of it. So dig your own grave, go down with the suit you wear, etc., etc. Anyone and everyone. If you're not going to be accountable to stand up, create nice, create different, allow change, want for the good, to assist yourself. So guys, can I please clear my energy because he's doing that attaching, hissing thing to my left shoulder blade. So he does physical and energetic attachment to my energy. Clear all emotional consciousness, attachment from the screen and the light, trying to slow down and densify the power of my lamp, etc., etc. So thanks if you made it so far through this. And I think I covered all that. It's really about being conscious of our actions. And for most of us adults, we know it doesn't take long to do that. We realize when we're acting like spoilt brats, and normally the world will feed us that message. And that's what I've been doing to Matthias, but he loves playing the hideaway brat. But if anyone was in my world doing the stuff he does, I would be telling them. Which is why I haven't been in a relationship. Like, well, it's now been 4 years since I was in a physical human with Matthias. It's been like 3 years. So it was actually a bit more than 4 years, actually. But the point being is, if you're not happy in relationship and the irresponsibility of some people, then you tell them that that's it. You don't like it and you move on. So with this soul reunion, it is a soul reunion. So the human has to do the soul reunion. So not hide away and act like a human brat, but actually become present and let the soul create. But he hasn't got present yet. And we have an angel card. Mikhail. I'll need some more light to read this. Oh. Mikhail. Curiosity is its own reward. A journey will be safe and productive. And the angel is resting on a lion. Curiosity is its own reward. That's one thing for our inner children to remind ourselves of. Stay curious and remind the children to do that too. You know, a good way to do that, if people aren't already doing that, I loved it when I discovered, I think I was reading a psychology magazine, and because curiosity is like inquisitive and adventure and journey kind of feeling. So it was good when I read something, I can't remember what it was, I think it was in that magazine, but always put back to the child of any age really, up until, or any age, right? Because we've all got like a joyful inner spirit to express, the inner child in us. Always put back to a child's question, well, what do you think? You know, like when they say, oh, why does this happen? Or how come that happened? Instead of just, unless you have a feeling like give them an answer, why not just say, well, what do you think? And then it stimulates that inquiry, that curiosity. That's what you want to stimulate in all of us. Why do things happen as they do? But not from a human perspective, obviously, because if we sit questioning why things happen as they do, in like a victim mentality, then yeah. No, I just thought I'd branch into that because that does happen with the victim mentality that we need to get out of, because we're energy and forward momentum. And I think we'll get an animal card, and I'll finish this recording at the, we had 3 of fire, which was forward journeying. Let's get an animal card. Just for the sake of the beauty of animals and the spirit they share on this earth. And any guidance for us with approaching the quiet inside as though it's a necessary response to life. We've got the canary spirit again. Now this last week in relation to soul spirit collaboration taking form now, and canary, sing your own song. So that's our reminder. That's where we're at now. And then the next card we had with the ant spirit, canary spirit, was the horse spirit. And the horse spirit said, freedom is yours. So singing our own song is very important, obviously, in freedom. Supporting our own song, knowing our own song. Oracle message. Canary spirit arrives to help you find your authentic voice and express what is in your heart. Free yourself to experience your inner light and let it shine, as canary spirit sings to remind you of your inherent joy and to support you as you sing your own song. Now is the time to let the world know who you really are. Canary Spirit's message is that you are free to be yourself and express your most cherished desires. The world wants to hear your song. If your inquiry is about a relationship, you're being called to fully be yourself, for only then will you find harmony and joy. You can make music with others so beautifully when your note rings true. Protection message of the canary spirit. Are you suppressing your true voice? Perhaps trying to sing the song you think people want to hear instead of your own? You create a cage around your life when you express only what you think will help you fit in and get what you think you want. Are you hiding the real you, telling a safe story about yourself to others because you are afraid they will think you are too different if they knew the truth? Canary Spirit comes to help you express yourself in a more honest and authentic way. Yes, not everyone will agree with you. In fact, not everyone will want to hear your originality or accept your uniqueness. You must not give this a single care. There will be plenty of people, opportunities, and wonderful new experiences that arrive as if by magic once you open your own cage door and fly free. Canary Spirit is cheering for you and wants you to know you are safe and loved. Find your voice and have courage to spread your wings and sing out loud. The world needs your true song. Mwah. Love, love, love. Just love the flow of the author's message. Some people really connect with the spirit and just the expression flows out for such great assistance on this planet. For each and every one of us to value our true selves, no matter, we will find the light that our true voice attracts. And we must really ingrain that connection from heaven to earth. We will find that which we attract on this earth from our true selves. Because it is such really a horrible dance to avoid yourself. And some of us lose that or hide it, forget about it, think we want or need different because of what we see out there. But it is in that quiet that you find your authenticity and you be your own best fan of your authenticity. Not a fan like how you appear or what you look like. Yes, you will have impact, but of always referring back to that inner road you travel and never searching for other people's roads because you think you might fit. And that happens sometimes, and it's very interesting. My guides have brought me to that, because when you have a big path in life, sometimes like you have big things to assist with self-discovery, before you realize that, you think you might fit there or there or oh maybe there. But when they don't fit, it's because you have an inner road to develop. Like lay the foundations from your inner world. So thank you, Canary Spirit, for reminding us. Trust your own tune. And give earth energy through you. Did you see the subtlety in that? I'm not sure if you did, but for me, it's like, get to know this resonance, get out of your head and get into your, like your body, get to love this resonance, connect that with sitting in silence with the planet, get to know and have that direct element of connection that you will never let go again. You will never like, there's this link connection between the inner energy and the human activity. You will never not have that again. Even if the outside world has to shift and change, you will always be your own best friend and you will bring that inner world. That there is what I like to call heaven sent. When we have that commitment to live our true selves, that's our heaven to earth expression. We are heaven sent. And that's why I feel very uneasy when I experience in this world people holding themselves down, holding themselves away from what they want. And you ask them why, or they tell you why, and it's because they're trying to fit something else that's happening, already happened, or an identity that people already know of them. But it's like you still have to be true to yourself. Otherwise you won't be living, because that's you. That's your spirit. Be joyful, express yourself, and don't worry how the outside world changes. Let it shift and change if you're in joy. If you're doing what you love, let the world shift and change. Be strong and powerful in that. I can go on and on a bit, and I'll finish now at 1:33 and just about 1:34 minutes. I can go on about it because I've had to face it in myself enough. And it's because I'm here to help with that light shift. And I couldn't be ever more proud of the earth going through this. Proud to be a part of it. It's like, yes, woohoo, let's do this. True to ourselves. Once you've lived like half your lifetime, because I'm 49, and you see that for the past few years, it's picking up speed with this. True selves have got to come out and stay. That's our soul light reality. It's like, Yes. Let's do this. All right. God bless everybody. Thank you for joining me however long you have. Appreciate it if you made it till the end. Bye for now.